This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60 years with home, auto, and business insurance.
On this edition of the LCTV News, we recap some of the week's biggest headlines, including Grand Army of the Republic receiving grant, and Greater Lynn Senior Services announces its new CEO. We show recaps of the Knights of Columbus Free Throw Championship and the Lynn Museum Family and Children's Day. And on the Lynn Lowdown, we talk to Donna Coppola and Adriana Wallace about the My Brother's Table Founders Day celebration. I'm Mukala Kabongo, and this edition of this episode of the LCTV News begins now. The Friends of the Grand Army of the Republic announced that they will be the recipients of the Roving Archivist Program Grant. The Roving Archivist Program Grant provides Massachusetts institutions with access to professional archivists who lends advice on policies, procedures, arrangements, and descriptions of records, preservation planning, and emergency preparedness. Built in 1885, the Grand Army of the Republic Hall and Museum serves as a memorial to the Union Army of the Civil War. It has over 1,800 members around the country, and the Civil War Roundtable of Lynn is a proud member of the Civil War Roundtable of Greater Boston. On Saturday, March 7th, the Lynn Democrats will be holding a caucus at Thurgood Marshall Middle School beginning at 10 a.m. During the caucus, there will be an election of delegates and alternates to the 2020 Massachusetts Democratic State Convention, which will take place in May in Lowell. The Lynn caucus is open to all registered and pre-registered Lynn Democrats. Anyone who is 16 years old will be allowed to participate and run as a delegate or alternate. For more information on the caucus or to be involved with the Lynn Democratic City Committee, contact Agnes Ricco at 781-599-9347. Beginning in March, the commuter rail station and garage will be refurbished as part of a multi-phase project that is designed to give major upgrades to the MBTA station's track beds, tenant spaces, arcade, garage, and infrastructure. The refurbishing of the commuter rail station is projected to take approximately 1 year, followed by construction of the station, which is set to begin in 2021. Residents have expressed concerns for their safety about the conditions of the station, and local officials feel this project is a step in the right direction. The projected budget for this project is $33 million. Greater Lynn Senior Services has announced Catherine Burns as their new CEO. Burns, a native of Salem, Mass., replaces Paul Crowley, who resigned in 2019. Burns brings 20 years of experience, and she's currently Executive Director of Mercy Life of Massachusetts. Her experiences working in senior services stem from being Senior Vice President and Executive Director at Harbor Health Services, Inc. in Mattapan and Chief Operating Officer for Element Care. Burns earned a bachelor's degree in Business Administration and Finance and Management from St. Mary's College at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana and has a master's degree in Healthcare Administration from Simmons College. Burns is set to begin on March 16th. More additions have been added to the Navigators 2020 roster. The Navs added to their infield and outfield with Jonathan Ludders and Colton Freeman. Ludders, a Linfield native, is currently a freshman at Seton Hall University. A 2019 graduate of Linfield High, Lutters was the 2019 Cape Ann League Player of the Year and earned all scholastic honors from the Boston Globe. Lutters was a 2-time Eastern Mass All-Star and a 3-time Cape Ann League All-Star. Freeman, a native of Laguna Beach, California, is currently enrolled at UMass at Dartmouth, an Ivy League school. As a senior in high school, he earned all-league honors twice and helped Laguna Beach win the California Interscholastic Federation Southern Section Championship. The Navigators are set to open their season on Wednesday, May 27th. Tuesday's City Council meeting could be best described as complete chaos as residents voiced their displeasure on the approval of a recreational marijuana shop. About 200 people were in attendance during Tuesday's meeting. A big opposer of the approval of the shop was the Lynn Seventh-day Adventist Church, who organized the protest in the lobby of City Hall. The crowd made its way to the mayor's office after being informed that the meeting was canceled. City Council President Darren Sear briefly spoke to the crowd and informed them that he will meet privately with the church pastor in the coming weeks. Now time for the police update. Lynn Police arrested a man early Thursday morning who they say is alleged to have assaulted a woman and fired a gun in her home. Ronald Spragling is being charged with discharging a firearm within 500 feet of a dwelling, assault with a dangerous weapon, unlicensed firearm possession, carrying a loaded firearm, assault and battery, as well as drug possession. Spragling was taken into custody after police arrived to the three-family home on Shillington Ave, where they were informed about the assault with the handgun. Nobody was injured during the incident. A Lynn man has been arrested and charged with robbery of 11 convenience stores. Ramfis Casado was indicted on 10 counts of armed and masked robbery, 10 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon, 2 counts of assault and battery, unarmed robbery, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, failing to stop a motor vehicle at a police stop, and operating a motor vehicle with a suspended license. Casado is said to have committed these robberies in Malden, Everett, Melrose, Woburn, Waltham, and Arlington. These robberies occurred between November and December. Malden police were able to apprehend Casado in early December. Casado will be arraigned in Middlesex Superior Court today. Early Wednesday morning, a driver crashed into a home on Linfield Street, damaging the porch as well as 2 parked vehicles. The crash occurred around 3 a.m. and the driver, who was identified as Alonzo Robinson, fled the scene after the crash happened. Lynn police were able to track down Robinson at his home after they found his abandoned vehicle on Bachelor Street. Robinson was issued a citation for leaving the scene of property damage and negligent operation of a motor vehicle. The Knights of Columbus Free Throw Championship took place at Sacred Heart School last weekend, and LCTV was on the scene.
Hi, my name is Robert McIsaac. I'm the Grand Knight at the Lynn Knights of Columbus. We're out here at the Lynn Free Throw Championship. It's a Knights of Columbus event that happens every year. It's local and then district and then regional and state and national. And we have a couple winners here that are going to go represent us at St. Mary's on the 29th. So I hope they win their respective free throw championship. Thank you.
Smile, everyone. This past Tuesday, Lynn Arts Lynn Museum held its Children's Day event in celebration of Black History Month, and LCTV was in attendance.
Hello, Jambo. Jambo is Kiswahili, that means hello. And we are here at the Lynn Museum, and we are celebrating African American history. And we know that that's not just a month or a day, but ongoing, because we all have to share the stories. I'm Mama Linda.
And I'm Baba Sumner, and we're from Stories Celebrating Life. We had a wonderful time here today. We had people of all races here, all ages, and we were just telling stories to celebrate Black history. But not only Black history, we were celebrating all of us as a people and as a culture, because we know that every culture has a drum, every culture has a story. The stories connect us together with each other and to something wonderful in terms of justice and love in the environment. So our whole goal is to encourage people to come off the phones a little bit, and watch television all the time. And share the stories.
Yes, because
when you do that, you're turning the stories on in your own head.
Right, and stories are very important.
Yes.
And that's how our young people will begin to know who they are and where they're going. And we realize that when we share each other's stories, we have more in common than we do not. And so our goal is to share and tell the stories, keep the fires warm so that we can learn to communicate more with each other and make this world a better place. And this is my friend Hoot the Owl.
Yeah.
Because we did a story on why does owl say who? Well, if you want to find out, come follow us on Stories Celebrating Life. What we do is we do storytelling with the use of the performing arts. So we do it with instruments, music, movement, and puppets. So we welcome you to be a part of us at any time, and also visit the Lynn Museum. We had children of all ages. We did so many fun things, but most of all, too, we learned a lot from the families that were here.
LCTV's David Riley put together a PSA on the importance of taking part in the 2020 census. Here is this week's census PSA.
In 2020, the U.S. Census will work to create an accurate picture of everyone who lives here. But why fill out the census? What is asked? And how is your information protected? The 2020 census is quick, and the questions asked are simple. They will ask how many people are living in your home, if you rent or own, and everyone's gender, age, and race. The census will never ask for your social security number, political affiliation, money, bank information, or citizenship status. If anyone asks this claiming to be from the census, they are trying to scam you. The census provides information that helps the government provide many things. For every person not counted, the city loses $2,400 in federal funding every year. It also helps determine how many representatives each state gets in Congress. Census information helps cities get grants and other money for infrastructure and road improvements, free and reduced lunch programs, childcare development, and much more. Your privacy matters. Under Title 13 of the U.S. Code, all answers given to the census are 100% anonymous by law and used only to produce statistics. All information about individuals is then kept confidential until 72 years after it was collected. How do you participate? This year, the census is offering a full online response option, along with phone and paper options. From March 12th to the 20th, there will be an invite to respond online sent to all homes, with reminders sent out if you don't respond. August through October, census workers will be out knocking on doors of those that haven't responded yet. So when the time comes, take a few minutes out to do this once-in-a-decade duty. During the 2020 census, Lynn is all in. For more information about the census, visit 2020census.gov.
The 2020 Spanish version. The Spanish version of the 2020 census video can be found on the LCTV Facebook page. Now for the sports update.
Okay, good. I was going to play the bumper, right? I'm glad you said that.
All right.
All right, so here we go. Play the bumper.
Yep. The Lynn Classical Lady Rams had to win their final 2 games of the season in order to qualify for the state tournament. And with yesterday's 57-36 victory over Winthrop, they did just that. Senior Jean Gupton Morrison had a big game for the Rams with her 21 points and 14 rebounds to help lead the way for the Lady Rams. Ava Thurman also added 13 points off the bench. Early on, it was a back-and-forth game and tied at 16 until the Rams used a 10-0 run to close out the first half and take a 26-16 lead into the half. In the second half, it was all Rams as they extended their lead to 15 and never looked back. The Rams, now 10-10 on the season, will face off against Newburyport in the state tournament. Lynn Classical men's basketball team finished their season with a 12-10 record after their 58-54 loss to Winthrop yesterday afternoon. Tony Palvera led the Rams with 26 points and Jeffrey Hill added 12. The Rams are the 15th seed in the tournament and will face off against number 2 seed Lynn English Bulldogs. Congratulations to St. Mary's senior Joey Abet Walsh, who reached the 1,000-point plateau Wednesday night in their 74-60 victory over Springfield Tech in the Spartan Classic. Abet Walsh's 29 points led the way for the Spartans in what was a competitive matchup despite the final score. Walsh's 1,000-point came on a 3-pointer in the fourth quarter with 4:16 left to go. Here is the highlight from that. With this victory, the Spartans are now 21-2 on the season and are the number 1 seed in the boys Division III and will have a first-round bye in the tournament. In other state tournament news, Kip Academy will also have a first-round bye in the tournament. Along with the St. Mary's Lady Spartans, the top seed will join the men's and Kip's team with first-round byes. Other state tournament pairings include Kip Lady Panthers will have a first-round matchup with Mystic Valley. Lynn English Lady Bulldogs will host Masconomet, and Lynn Tech Lady Tigers will take on Rockport. On this week's Lynn Lowdown, we sat down with Donna Coppola and Adriana Wallace. Here is this week's Lowdown.
Welcome to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dave Riley, and I am joined today by Donna Coppola and Adriana Wallace, and we're here to talk about the 8th annual My Brother's Table Founders Celebration happening on Wednesday, March 18th, 2020 from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Congregation Sharat Hayam at 55 Atlantic Ave in Swampscott. Thanks for joining me today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
So, first off, what is My Brother's Table? What sort of stuff do they offer to the community?
My Brother's Table has been here in our community, the Lynn community, since 1982. It was founded then by some people who wanted to make sure that our community had a place for people to go who were in need of meals. Their mission starts with really hospitality. They want to make everybody feel comfortable coming there. They serve meals at lunch and dinner, Monday through Friday, as well as on the weekend, there's a dinner meal both of those days.
So when it was founded, what mission did the founders have in mind?
Well, the founders really had the mission that if people could come there and would be very comfortable, be greeted, be accepted, that there's no shaming in being in need of a meal. Sometimes it's not just people who are homeless, but there are families that My Brother's Table serves that are just don't have the financial means to meet their bills. There's many of the people that come there are working people, but trying to meet their bills with the cost of rent now is a problem. So it's there for them to be accepted, get a hug if they need a hug. Some people maybe financially are not in a bad spot, but are very lonely and don't want to eat by themselves in a rooming house, and come out there just for the social part of it too.
And unfortunately, there is still much of a stigma kind of attached to people that are down on luck and whatnot. So getting people to come down is, I'm sure, a little bit of a problem, even if they absolutely need help.
You're right.
And they don't want to be seen as getting it.
Exactly. Their greed is there. There's a very small paid staff. Most of the people that work there are volunteers, especially when it's come serving time for the meals. And everybody knows that it starts with a prayer. The volunteers do a prayer and are reminded that, some people here just, need a little conversation, a little encouragement, that they are just people a little down on their luck or a little lonesome.
So Adriana, you actually took part in the teen parent program there, and from there you ended up volunteering at the table. If you could talk a little bit about that.
So we do once a year, we volunteer at my brother's table. It'll be during a half day of school. We will all meet there and we will help prepare the food for the night. I would love to stay longer. It's an amazing opportunity to help and prepare the food for the people that helped us and returned.
And the teen parent program, what is that exactly?
Well, the teen parent program is actually a program at Joy Child Care Center. And I've been working there as a case manager for that program for 23 years. And how we started is some of my moms would run out of formula for their babies. And so I made a connection with the table, and they were able to help us out with formula. And over time, they realized that a lot of teen parents, if they're not living at home and their families aren't eligible for food stamps, then they really are at a shortage of food. And so to make it easier, we made this partnership, My Brother's Table and the Teen Parent Program, where they get a meal kit every Wednesday, and it includes a meat, a starch, vegetables, fruit, and a snack, obviously. And they also include a recipe of how to make that meal that week. Some meals are very easy and you can figure them out, but sometimes if a meal gets put together and it's a difficult meal, like, what are we going to do with that? The table will run off recipes for the teen moms. So they have an opportunity to start by learning to cook, as well as being able to bring food home. Being a teen parent can be difficult. And and it can be difficult for the family. Not only do they already have a child, but now they're bringing in a baby into the mix. So this helps the main family, and it helps the teen parent.
So to get to the event itself, the Founders Celebration, 8 years ago they started this. So why did My Brother's Table want to honor the founders and also people within the community, which we do got to say, Donna's actually one of the honorees this time around, and I think I could speak for a lot of people when I say it's well-deserved. You do a lot.
Thank you. The more important is the reason for the Founders Celebration. The table accepts no government assistance or grants. It's all private funding and
Which is something
fundraising.
I don't think a lot of people actually even realize.
Exactly. I think most nonprofits, and they are a nonprofit, but most nonprofits accept funding. And the reason the founders did not want to accept funding is they wanted people to be able to come in if they're in need of a meal and not have to fill out a form and give a reason why they were in need of a meal. You know, because like I said, it could be somebody who really didn't need a free meal, but is lonesome and needs company. So to make it run smoothly and people feel like they can come there and they don't have to, you know, say what their income is or why they're down on hard times. And there's a lot of fundraising that goes on to try to keep this in operation. And a lot of groups also donate a lot of food to the place also. But you know, it takes the electricity, the rent, you know, everything else takes money to pay for it, to keep it open and running. And they're open 365 days a year. It's very rarely that they're not open, even through storms and things like that, they're still open.
So it's definitely a great thing to have this, just because the no strings attached sort of thing is huge. Because you're right, a lot of people, they don't want to mention why.
Right.
So this event is huge to help fundraise. So only have maybe like 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So if people come to the event, what should they expect?
They're going to expect to have a nice time. They're going to have good company there. There's going to be great food. They're going to be able to sample food from, you know, all different kinds of foods at little small food stations, and there'll be a meal provided. And it's just a wonderful event. But for people who want to support the table and aren't able to come and volunteer, this is a time that if you can open your checkbook, you know, your wallet, and really buy a ticket to this event, and let this program go on for, you know, it was 1982, so it's a lot of years that it's been going on. And the need is just as great today, especially before. I think it was for people who were kind of really down and out, but now it's a lot of families that we never expected we would see families coming. And they get to go to the front of the line. That's how they are treated when they get to the table, all families with children, right to the front of the line. And so this is the time that if you can help My Brother's Table, please, please buy a ticket to this event and come, and you'll have a good time. And I'll be at the front, I'll greet you, and just thank you for, you know, doing the best that you can. This is a wonderful, wonderful. If you haven't been down to the table and you would like to volunteer, you have time, please come down and volunteer.
And I'm sure Adriana can speak to this too, but I mean, years ago I volunteered, and you can see the difference that it makes to people on their face as they come through. Some of them are just so incredibly, incredibly grateful.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes you feel good too, helping out somebody. Just volunteering in general is a great thing. So if you're able to volunteer, definitely go down. But if you can, definitely come out to this event, the 8th Annual My Brother's Table Founders Celebration. That's happening Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, from 6:30 to 8:30 at Congregation Sharat Hayam, 55 Atlantic Ave in Swampscott. And for ticket information, for more information, the info has been flashing at the bottom of the screen throughout the episode. So that is it for this edition of the Lynn Lowdown. Thanks for watching.
And now for some upcoming local events. The Greater Lynn Photographic Association will hold a nature photography workshop this Saturday from 9 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. at their studio on 564 Boston Street. The workshop will focus on the basics of composition lighting, equipment, mammals, as well as macro and botany. Those interested should visit greaterlynnphoto.org for more information. The Lynn Walking Shoe Tour will be reenacting the Women's March for Equal Pay from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. on Saturday. The reenactment will focus on the 1860 strike where women workers at the shoe and textile factory in Lynn walked the streets in protest for their simple rights. For more information on the walk, visit the Lynn Walk and Shoe Tours Facebook page or contact Michelle Guzman. Also happening on Saturday is the 3rd annual ALS fundraiser at Hibernian Hall from 7:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. All proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards supporting individuals with ALS. For information on donating, visit Team Snow ALS Facebook page. Early voting for the Massachusetts primary begins this Monday, February 24th at City Hall. Residents who are registered to vote should visit Lynn City Hall to cast their vote. March 3rd is the primary voting day throughout Massachusetts. On Wednesday, February 26th, from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m., the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lynn and Swampscott Conservancy will be hosting a speaker series on climate change and faith. Professors from Salem State and Boston University will be on the panel to discuss how faith helps individuals respond to climate emergency. This event is free and open to the public. LCTV's next Paramount film series will take place on Monday, March 9th. The movie choice for March is True Grit. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Movie begins at 7 p.m. Free popcorn and beverages will be available. Thank you for watching the LCTV News. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us at linntv.org to watch any show anytime on your computer, tablet, or phone. I'm Mukala Kabongo. Have a great day.